You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series and syndicating for the A-List Online. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and the interview subject I have coming up for you, his name is Dan White, and he is the fella at the centre of Western Australian outfit, Blue Child Collective. The reason for the conversation is to promote Blue Child Collective's brand new album. It's just been released. It's called Wake Up to the Sound. So let's have a listen to what Dan has to say. Here we go.
Couple of minutes, man. Appreciate it.
No, that's all right, mate. No worries. What's happening tonight? Are you out celebrating this wonderful album of yours, are you?
Oh, nah. Actually, I was just out to dinner with some friends, and it just went a little bit longer than I was expecting. So I appreciate, just the extra 10 minutes to wrap up.
No, that's fine, mate. That's fine. Yeah. So,
I'm all yours.
You've released this album, and I think Lee was the fella that sent across that I host another website, or I moderate another website these days, the A-List Online, and you made my top 25.
Oh, was that you? No.
Yeah, that's me. that's me.
Well, thank you.
No, that's all right. So I hope you read the comments and had a bit of a laugh, because I remembered from our last conversation you've got a pretty keen sense of humour, so I thought you might have found it pretty funny what I wrote there.
Oh, I didn't actually see the comment. Sorry, was that at the bottom of the page?
So let me read it out to you. That's cool. Let me read it out to you. It's so here I go. So bear with me. If I offend you or anybody else want to read this out, bear with me, but I don't think I will. Here we go. When someone says that a band's music has a chilled and laid-back vibe, it's my instinct to glass them. And then,
yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great.
But my view is, mate, when you make music as engaging as yours and you're as proficient as a musician as you clearly are, you can call it whatever you want, okay? And I know you haven't called it chilled and laid back, but you know those lazy slang terms, those cliches that people throw around about music? And
yeah, totally.
And I thought if anybody was going to do it on the music that I've really enjoyed this year, it might have been to you, God help them. It's because I think it's just a lazy way of describing really good music, because there's so much going on with your stuff. But
it's a blanket term.
It is. But look, as I said, man, if anybody wants to call your music that or what have you, mate, whatever, mate, it doesn't change the fact that it is fantastic Australian music, and it's really emblematic of the sort of music that I think has been released this year. That
thanks, man.
High quality music that. Man, this is the problem, isn't it? That I don't think a lot of people are going to get to have the chance to listen to because of the way bloody radio's skewed and the proliferation of media outlets online, blogs and social media.
They will in time, though. I just have to play the game properly. Cleverly. So they're just, we're all navigating the same waters, and I can't just claim that I'm a roots musician and should all listen to me or play the poor me card. I don't know, just keep writing good music and recording it and releasing it, and I think in time, a lot of people are going to hear this record.
How close are you to playing music a career, do you think?
Oh, I already do. I've been doing it full time for 5 years.
There we go. Okay, I couldn't remember if I asked you that the last time, but it's primarily built off touring, isn't it, and playing live with your.
Mostly playing gigs at the moment, and I'm definitely looking to move that, active income towards more passive income, which will allow me more time to play the gigs that really matter, and to put that those additional resources, time and money, into the creation of more music.
Yeah, gotcha. So you got a plan. It sounds like you got a good plan.
Oh, for sure, you got to. Like any business, you got to look to the future and then make a plan and structure and stick to it, and keep modifying it and all that.
Well, I think the beauty of what you're doing is, whether you've got a band around you or whether you're just doing it by yourself with your guitar, you can still do what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's just the way in which you do it that changes over time based on how you approach it.
Yeah, indeed it does. Indeed it does, mate. So, with this album here, mate, what's the feedback been like by people that have had a chance to hear it?
It's been really positive, hey. Actually, I haven't heard anything bad about it so far. It's been, really encouraging. It's been getting plenty of airplay. Actually, all of the singles off it so far have received Triple J airplay, which has been encouraging as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's good. So it's getting out there. I think, we just got to keep pushing out all the other content. The support material. Not only playing gigs, but been rolling out, like a story of the making of and all that kind of stuff, like short video clips to support and give more depth to the album. Because as a listener, love to hear that stuff about, from all the artists that I love. I love to hear all that stuff. It just gives more, I guess, more of an experience of the song itself or the album itself when you re-listen to it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's that fourth dimension, and it's for fans of music like yours. It's very visceral music, and fans like to wrap their head around a lot more than just what's presented within the music, don't they? They like to turn up to the shows and interact with you via the content that you've got out there. So, I remember you released the video when you recorded the album in Corsica, I think it was. And
yeah, that's right.
Are you going to be doing something similar with this for this release here, Wake Up to the Sound?
Yeah, so we actually have a short documentary. It's about 15 minutes long, coming out the week before the tour at the start of January, which goes into a great more detail about the concept of the album, Wake Up to the Sound, and I guess to do exactly that, give more depth to the concept and to the ideas, the making of the album. But more what it means and what it's about, because I'm still in love with the album format in that you can present a concept or a theme to the audience, and then each song is a different look at that same thing.
Okay, and what about the musicians and the personnel this time around? Did you retain some of the core musicians that helped you on the previous album that was Sat and Saw the Seaside?
Yeah, absolutely. So my partner, MJ, sang on a bunch of the songs again. Yep. Had more of a backing role on a lot of the songs, but featured on a couple of the songs again. And our longtime sax player, who's actually not with us anymore, he's focusing on his own blues project, but Lindsay Baker recorded all the sax on the album. He's been with me for the last three records now.
What about the arrangements then, with the sax solo, for example? So I'm in a band, as you might recall when we spoke last time. I tend to, when I'm writing my own stuff, which really happens these days, I'm just so bloody busy, but I tend to just say, look, what I'd like here is a sax solo rather than a guitar solo or whatever it might be. But do you say that? Do you give those types of instructions to the musicians and you just trust that they're going to deliver, or are you a bit more specific?
Yeah, well, it depends. Hey, in terms of like solo sections, I do like to assign certain sections of songs where I think it will fit for a specific instrument to play a lead role. Yep. And the relationship that I've had with Lindsay over the last few years has taught me that he is very much a feel player. And so, like, for example, all the horn lines that I wrote and arranged, we took time getting through, but then I would give him specific sections of songs just to like do his thing and do a couple of takes and just feel it out and express himself in that moment,
Yes.
But at the same time, I do like to kind of I guess guide that moment of freedom, that expression with painting a picture. So, for example, with I think it's track 6, The Roof of the World.
Yep.
That features a really nice keys part from Ken Allard, and for me, the purpose of that intro was to paint a picture of the Himalayas, that time and place of the Tibetan refugees walking across the Himalayas back to the homeland, and so we spent maybe 5 minutes just talking about that beforehand while he was sitting at the keys, and then let him do his thing, which is really nice. I think it's a nice way to approach it. So you're still kind of directing in that sense, but allowing freedom from the musician, which is great. I think that's really important. It's nice to be able to set down structures and then do that to a T, but it's nice just to let the creative chaos flow as well.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Have you ever had a situation, I'm going to say conflict, I'm not talking about physical conflict here, but just sort of disagreements within the recording process where you have issued those sort of instructions that you've just outlined, you don't feel that you've got the response that really fits the song?
Over the years, it depends what the dynamic is like. I mean, because I arrange all this stuff and then I guess it develops further with the producer and the other musicians in the studio. But at the end of the day, I'm paying for everything. I do have the final call. So in that dynamic, there's less, as opposed to a band who's splitting everything and everyone's writing. And
it's terrible when that happens. Yeah.
Oh, well, there's just more politics, whereas this is really clean and it's really easy. But at the same time, like, I'm not a tyrant, man. So, like, I really want to make sure that all the musicians feel free to have their say. And because I'm not kidding myself. I'm not the best musician in the world. I don't know everything. There's like every single musician in the world is going to know something that I don't know. So it can only add to the project.
Sure.
So I guess there has been input over the years that like I haven't agreed with, and I felt maybe has felt like whoever's put it forward has felt that that's really the thing. But end of the day, like, yeah, they can apply that to their own project if they so desire. And I just have to follow my feeling, because it's whatever's for the best of the song, not just me.
Yep. You're working to service the song wherever the inspiration comes from, aren't you? And oftentimes, do you get this thing when you're writing a song too? You just start with an idea and it evolves, and you really don't have an end state in mind. It's just one of those things where when you're writing, the song evolves and takes a natural course, and once it's finished and you listen back to it, you think, God, I wonder where that came from.
It's funny, yeah. We call it overcooking a song, which is easy to do, You go down that rabbit hole that is the recording studio and come out the other side, having gone maybe just a little bit too deep and maybe losing the essence of that song, the magic that was actually just in the first take.
It often is, isn't it, though? And it's often the most simplistic thing where it's got enough space, because I tend to find, as far as I'm concerned, artistry and creativity is much better when you're not thinking. It's better off when you're sort of in a sort of dream state, and God help me for saying this, but it's almost why so many artists, from the Beatles to Pink Floyd to some wonderful artists that are around these days, take alternative substances to get them elsewhere and try to get thinking away.
Them access that space of mind, hey?
Yeah, and it does work, that, because, God, look at the wonderful music that's been created whilst people have been under the influence of LSD and other substances. There's no question, I don't think, that that's the case. But this, I like this album cover here too, mate. It seems like it's really, it's one of those album covers that really represents the music that's contained on the album. So what can you tell me about the album cover?
Cool. Well, yeah, we thought it was, that was a brainstorm between MJ and myself. She's the mastermind behind all the artwork. We draft it all together, and then she comes out with magic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that. Well, we were just looking for something it was actually the second album cover. We had I
was going to ask you.
6 months ago. Yeah, and we, at kind of like in the last stages of the release, changed it because we came up with this new idea which actually just represented the concept of the album a lot better. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that there's a lot more, the universe is made of sound and frequencies, energy vibrating, which we call sound. We talk about this in the documentary, The Art of Sound.
Yep.
And basically, like this idea that there's a lot more out there than we directly perceive. So relating that to sound, we can hear between 20 and 20,000 hertz, like with our ears, audibly.
Sure.
But it's proven, we have microwaves, radio waves, X-rays, all these things that we can use other instruments to interpret and reproduce sonically for us to hear with our ears, but they still exist, So applying that concept to life in general, it's, I guess, understanding that there's more out there than we directly perceive, and to keep an open mind about all that stuff. Then to take it a step further, if the universe is sound, is made of, I guess, matter vibrating, then my belief is that we can mold it and shape it with our thoughts and our words and our actions, which are also just it's another sound impacting or affecting matter. So I came up with this idea. If you do that, I would call you a soundscaper. It's called soundscaping. So creating your world, based on your thoughts and your words and your actions. And so the album cover, I think, became quite a good representation of that, because it was like the sound wave going through the head, the hands I don't know if you can see them very well, but the headphones. And
yeah,
so it's
I
just
can.
to kind of indicate. Yeah, cool. Just kind of indicate that like it starts in it starts here, in your head, and then that same sound wave ran through all of the different pieces of artwork throughout the album, to kind of, it becomes a subtext, for each, for the content of each of the pieces of art. I don't know. You can look into it pretty deep if you want to have a bit of a flick through.
That's awesome, mate. I don't think I've ever had anybody, and I think I'm up to 350 interviews at this point, and I've asked this question a lot.
Oh, nice.
I don't think I've ever had anybody articulate an album cover the way that you just have in relation to the music and what you were set out to achieve. So that's
Did I
wicked.
overthink it?
Not at all, man. No, it's great, man. It really suits it. I really liked your last. I go onto your Bandcamp page occasionally and just stare at the album covers because I do like them. I like what you've done.
I'm a big advocate for, I guess, giving another element of experience to music with vision. That's why we're so big on artwork and why we're so big on film, especially because you just give depth to something that's already great. And I think we're visual human beings. You experience the world first and foremost. We have five senses, but it's with your eyes, hey. So as an artist, that's pretty challenging, as a musician.
You said something else really interesting too, talking about the universe being made up of numbers or words to the effect. I think I was listening to Joe Rogan, or was it another podcast I listened to today. He had a guest on.
Awesome.
And he made the comment that we know so little about what makes up, so the matter of the universe, what actually makes it up. If he was going to put an estimate of it, this learned professional or individual said that we only know about 5% of what goes on out there in terms of what makes everything up. And so I think there's a lot that's intangible out there. And you talk about creating, I think you said, I don't want to misquote you here, but you talked about creating your, thinking, really intently thinking, and therefore using, oh man, sorry, I'm going to stuff it up because I don't want to misquote you, but what you said was really profound, because I do believe that if you focus on what you are thinking and how you're thinking, you can control your life, and therefore you can create the life you want. And that's my point. Sorry, I'm making it pretty clumsily, but that's where I'm headed with it all. But you said it very well. Yeah.
No, I'm on page 100%, man. That's exactly it. And the more intensely you focus that thought or those words, that's why singing is so powerful, because it's like supercharged word.
It is, yeah.
There's more energy behind it and more intention. So that's why I sing about good stuff, and positive observations of the world. And I look at a lot of musicians actually who sing about heartbreak and a party lifestyle all the time, and that's exactly what they live. And it's funny because a lot of people can't see that. It's like you are what you eat, right? We are what you think and speak and say and sing as well,
A lot of people get stuck, though. So they've had shitty childhoods, potentially, or they've had their heart broken too many times, or they're in a financial position they can't get out of, or they hate their jobs and they're locked into it because the kids have got to go to a certain private school.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of hurdles.
Yeah, and there's all this stuff, but you're a bloke who's actually doing it. You're leading, you're an intent, you're creating with intent, and you're leading the life that you want to lead. And I think you've figured out the hack, which is to just think and feel the things that you want to have happen. And
totally.
Really
and the
focus
more hurdles there are, the more fire there is in your belly, man. There's no excuse. As soon as you realise that, either you live the life that you want to or you don't.
Most people aren't, unfortunately, and I think that's what I really appreciate about your music is what you've just said, is the, you could call it a positive message, but it's the message that you put out there. You've got these...
Yeah, of course. Open to interpretation always.
Yeah, but you're right, they're not songs about heartbreak and fuck the world and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, we get that the world's a difficult place and it always has been, and there's disease and famine and inequality. We get all of that, and I've spoken to a number of artists about this, and of all people, not necessarily that's him, but I just didn't expect to have a profound conversation with DJ Jazzy Jeff. Now, you're probably of my vintage, so you remember him and Will Smith back in the day? Remember when they had their TV show?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so he provided some insight in that, these days there's so much pressure on musicians to adopt and present a political message, if you like. So we spoke about that, but he actually said that it's his view to give people it's his opportunity and his job to give people a break from all of that stuff, to give them an opportunity to go away from it, because Twitter's a bloody sewer. You post a comment on Facebook that's, there's so many things on Facebook. I mean, I've barely updated my Facebook page, to be honest with you, because I just don't like going on there. But it's almost impossible to get away from it, particularly if you're in a band, because you need and have an media outlet like what I do, because you need to interact with people via Facebook and via Twitter.
One of our greatest tools.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Though it's truly a double-edged.
I don't know. I think if you're attracting some kind of scrutiny, then you're doing the right thing.
Oh, good on you. Yeah, okay. Yep.
I don't know. Like I spent a lot of my life trying to keep everyone happy, but I realised that one day that actually you're not going to be able to keep everyone happy, and you just got to do what you do, and pay more attention to like if it feels good within yourself, or if it feels right within yourself, and if it does, then you do it, and that's always going to change. The ever shifting goalposts, but if you're not pissing someone off, you're not being bold enough. I don't think.
Yeah, it's
true, man.
Yeah, lead a bold.
It sucks, I'm a bit scary for the more chilled of us, but
I think you've got to do it. You got to stand within your own truth, haven't you? No matter who you are.
That's what it is.
Yeah, you just.
And the thing is that it's not everyone's truth, So obviously it's going to grate on some people's nerves, but I mean, you got to be true to yourself, eh?
You do indeed, and talk about standing on your own 2 feet, mate. The picture I'm looking at here of you, you're riding a bike under bloody water. So I don't know how you did that. Tell us the story behind that, because you got your guitar strapped to you and everything.
Yeah. So the guy who took that is Russell Ord. He's a world-renowned surf photographer who lives down the road. Absolute legend. And I just called him up one day and asked if we could do a photo shoot. I always wanted to do a underwater photo shoot at the time, and he said yes, so he does. Like, obviously he's a surf photographer, so that's his game. That's why I called him up. And we went down to where they have the Margaret River Pro, the surf comp each year. The point there across the way is a break called Box, and there's some nice lagoons there. We went down there, and he brought his son's bike along. I don't know what he got in return. It turned out better than the guitar anyway. The guitar was shot by the end of the day, whereas I think the bike got a nice rinse off. But whacked on a weight belt, and took a deep breath, and we did a bunch of different takes, and came out pretty good. He's a magical photographer, so it wasn't that hard. I just had to give a good crack at riding a bike underwater.
How was that? I mean, I know you got the weight belts on, but you got the waves and the current and the like pushing you to and fro, no doubt, as well.
Pretty nice. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it as like a good form of transport. More of a gimmick, but good fun.
Oh, good stuff. Now, tell me, how was I think you did 2 shows with Xavier Rudd, is that correct?
Oh, we did one. Yeah, we did the Southwest show a couple of weeks ago with Xavier. That was awesome, man. I think I put something up on social media the other day about how, that feeling when you meet someone that you've looked up to for a long time. Mm-hmm. And that was exactly it, Like, I grew up listening to his music, so it's pretty surreal to have a good conversation. We had a fire out the back. He's got a really nice pre-show ritual. And,
nice.
he's a really nice bloke. I was very, very lucky to play that show. We played it as a duo, my partner and myself, MJ.
Nice.
Would have loved to have played with a full band, but that's how it goes for opening act sometimes. Not up to us. But, so thankful to play that gig, man. That's opened a lot of doors for us, hey?
I bet. And his fans were obviously very open to what you were doing.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's the perfect crowd for us, really. Like, we've had some big gigs in the past, but in terms of playing to our audience, our people, our tribe, that's the gig of my life so far, that's for sure.
You've got, I think it's about 11 or 12 shows coming up, and thankfully you're coming over here, mate. So I think I've got 2 opportunities to see you. One of them is at Maroochydore. And the other one's
Soul Bar.
Soul Bar. Yeah, which is awesome, by the way. You'll love it there if you get to play there. And also Night Quarter on the Gold Coast, because I live between the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast. I've got 2 places. And
I have to pull you up there. Sorry, I don't know if Lee passed it on, but actually, unfortunately, the night quarter show just got cancelled. We got superseded by an overseas act, so we lost that gig, unfortunately.
Who was that?
Yeah, so
who was the act that superseded you or replaced you?
Oh, it's some DJ. I can't tell you. Sorry, man.
Jeez, yeah.
Because I was going to hit him up and see if we could support, but it's not the right gig.
Well, I'll definitely try and make the Soul Bar gig then, if that's the case, which is on Friday, 18th of January. Because I was going to say, if you were playing night quarter, I'd bring the kids down with me, actually. But obviously I can't bring the kids into Soul Bar. That's a shame, mate, actually. You'd go down superbly there.
I don't know, though, because we're doing the Playhouse. So it's like a sit-down show, which I think is actually suitable for kids. You want to check that. But
where's that at? Where's the Playhouse?
So it's Soul Bar, but they have a separate room. Where it's all seated.
Sorry, I know the one you're talking about there. Yeah. Oh, you must be going on as like a matinee performance or afternoon performance or early evening, is it?
No, it's evening. It's it's a nighttime performance. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, mate. The Ocean Street, which is where Soul Bar is, that gets so busy.
It's pumping, eh? Yeah, we've done it a few times over the last few years.
Yeah, it's so busy. I've got a mate who runs Sneaky Baron, which is about 4 doors up from there, and he was talking to me last Saturday night, and I just came in for a few cocktails, and it was pretty busy. It was about sort of 11 o'clock. By the time it got to midnight, mate, we basically couldn't move, and he had to act as security because he doesn't have a security detail working the door because there's no dickheads around. You know, people are just sort of there to have fun and get loose and do what they need to do. But yeah, mate, it was so busy on there. Just with the summer months now here, people are ready to cut loose and have a good time.
It's good timing. That's why we're going on tour.
Yeah, man. Well, it's a perfect environment for it with the sun up there and the waves and everything else, mate. Is it tickets? Is it? I suppose we'll just contact for people listening who might be on the Sunshine Coast. I suppose they just contact Soul Bar if they want to know how to get tickets. Sort of, they just go there on the night.
Yep. No, it's through the website. Definitely good to get tickets beforehand because it's limited seating. There's another great band from the Sunny Coast, Band of Frequencies, who are also playing, and local singer Alicia Todd with her band.
Okay, there you go. All right. Well, I'll do what I can to make it, man. I'd love to see you live because I reckon it would go off. I love watching the videos online and everything else, but nothing beats watching an excellent artist perform live. No doubt about that.
Oh, it's a different experience, hey? And I love to listen to a band and then rock up at their live gig and be blown away. It's always a nice treat.
Cool, mate. Look, I'll wrap things up. Just for people listening who want to get in touch with you via social platforms, can you tell them how they can do that and also how they can listen to Wake Up to the Sound?
Absolutely. You can listen to the new album online anywhere. It's on all the major platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, etc., etc. You can download it from Bandcamp or from our website, bluechildcollective.com, where you can also get all of the tickets for the shows around the country next month.
Very organised.
I've got to make it easy.
Done a good job.
But if you want to get in touch, you can get us through Facebook, Instagram, or there's an email page on our website as well. We're pretty good at getting back to people because we like to hear from you.
Sweet. There you go. Thanks, mate. That's it. What I'll do from here is, if you're happy... You have been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series and syndicating for the A-List Online. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that conversation featured Blue Child Collective's main man, Dan White. Thanks so much for listening.